The man renowned for unifying China, Emperor Qin Shi Huang, reshaped history by forging the nation's first empire. Famous for the Great Wall and the Terracotta Army, his pursuit of immortality adds an air of mystery to his remarkable legacy. Emperor Qin Shi Huang, born in 259 BCE, was the son of King Zhuangxiang of the Qin state. His early life unfolded against a backdrop of political turmoil and strife during the Warring States period. As a child, he faced the challenges of living in a kingdom constantly at odds with its neighbors. His father became king in 246 BCE, and young Shi Huang was thrust into the royal life, absorbing lessons on governance, military strategy, and diplomacy. At the age of 13, he ascended the throne after his father's death, but he was far from in control. A regent, Lu Buwei, effectively ruled on his behalf, guiding him through the intricacies of leadership. Despite this, Shi Huang's sharp intellect and ambition began to surface. He displayed a keen interest in consolidating power, even as a teenager. During his formative years, Shi Huang experienced an education that emphasized the importance of strength and unity. He learned about the other states and their leaders, gaining insight into their weaknesses. This knowledge would later serve him well in his quest for dominance. Though he was young, he developed a vision for a unified China, a dream that would drive his future decisions. Emerging from the chaos of the Warring States period, the Qin state began its ascent to power through a combination of strategic military conquests and shrewd political maneuvering. Under the leadership of its rulers, the Qin developed a formidable army and implemented key reforms that strengthened their position. They adopted advanced military tactics, including the use of crossbows and organized formations, which allowed them to defeat rival states. The Qin also benefited from internal reforms that centralized power and improved infrastructure. They standardized weights and measures, which facilitated trade and communication across their territories. The legalist philosophy, emphasizing strict laws and harsh punishments, helped maintain order and loyalty among the populace, creating a strong administrative framework. As the Qin expanded, they forged alliances through both diplomacy and intimidation. They often coerced smaller states into submission, showcasing their military prowess while simultaneously undermining the confidence of their enemies. This combination of fear and respect allowed the Qin to secure crucial resources and territory. Through these methods, the Qin state steadily gained power and influence, positioning itself as a dominant force in the region. By the time Qin Shi Huang was poised to take command, the groundwork for a unified China had already begun, with the Qin state leading the charge. Although he was born into a tumultuous era, Qin Shi Huang's ascension to the throne marked a pivotal moment in Chinese history. In 247 BCE, at the tender age of 13, he became the king of the Qin state after the death of his father, King Zhuangxiang. Despite his youth, the circumstances surrounding his rise were steeped in complexity. His ascent was orchestrated by Lu Buwei, a powerful merchant and politician who saw potential in the young king. Lu Buwei played a significant role in shaping Qin Shi Huang's early reign, leveraging his influence to guide the young monarch through the treacherous waters of court politics. As the regent, Lu aimed to solidify the Qin state's power, laying the groundwork for future conquests. Meanwhile, Qin Shi Huang began to learn the intricacies of leadership, albeit under the watchful eye of his mentor. As he matured, Qin Shi Huang displayed remarkable determination. He quickly recognized the importance of unifying the fragmented states of China. His vision for a centralized empire fueled his ambitions, and he started to assert his authority more decisively. By surrounding himself with loyal officials and military leaders, he gradually gained control over the political landscape, setting the stage for his future endeavors. In 221 BCE, after years of relentless campaigns, Qin Shi Huang achieved his goal of unification, declaring himself the first emperor of China. Under Lu Buwei's guidance, the young Qin Shi Huang navigated a landscape rife with political intrigue and rivalry. Lu, a prominent statesman and merchant, became a powerful figure in the Qin court, using his influence to shape the young emperor's decisions. He understood the importance of strategic alliances and adeptly maneuvered among the various factions vying for power. As Lu sought to consolidate his position, he encouraged Qin Shi Huang to surround himself with loyal advisors. This tactic aimed to diminish the influence of powerful nobles who might threaten Lu's authority. Lu's political acumen was evident as he orchestrated the appointments of officials who shared his vision for a unified China. These appointments often sidelined those from the old order, creating a tension within the court. However, Lu's ambitions didn't go unnoticed. Rivals began to conspire against him, viewing his growing power as a direct threat. They whispered in the shadows, seeking ways to undermine his influence over the young emperor. Despite the danger, Lu managed to maintain control, employing spies and informants to keep tabs on his adversaries while simultaneously fostering an air of loyalty among those close to Qin Shi Huang. In this charged atmosphere, the young emperor learned valuable lessons about governance and trust. As Lu Buwei's machinations unfolded, Qin Shi Huang began to understand the complexities of leadership. As tensions escalated within the Qin court, Qin Shi Huang recognized that Lu Buwei's growing influence posed a significant threat to his authority. Lu, once a powerful chancellor and advisor, had cultivated a network of loyal officials and supporters. This web of influence made him a formidable rival to the young emperor, who sought to consolidate his power and establish his rule. Determined to eliminate this potential challenge, Qin Shi Huang devised a careful plan. He began by undermining Lu's position, strategically placing loyalists in key government roles to diminish Lu's control. The emperor also spread rumors about Lu's ambitions, casting doubt on his loyalty among the ranks. These tactics created an atmosphere of suspicion and fear, isolating Lu from his allies. In a decisive move, Qin Shi Huang summoned Lu to his court under the pretense of discussing state matters. During this meeting, the emperor confronted Lu with the accusations surrounding his loyalty. The tension reached a peak as Qin Shi Huang revealed his intent to remove Lu from power. With little choice, Lu Buwei was forced to resign, and his influence began to wane. Though Lu initially attempted to maintain his status, the emperor's decisive action proved effective. Lu's downfall marked a significant turning point in Qin Shi Huang's reign. Qin Shi Huang aggressively eliminated his rivals, determined to establish his authority and unify China under a single rule. His rise to power was marked by strategic military campaigns and ruthless tactics aimed at dismantling the feudal states that challenged his supremacy. Through a combination of diplomacy and force, he targeted the prominent states of Han, Zhao, Wei, and Qi, employing skilled generals to execute his plans. One of his most significant military strategies involved leveraging the resources of his expansive kingdom. Qin Shi Huang mobilized vast armies, utilizing infantry and cavalry to penetrate enemy territories. His forces employed innovative tactics, including siege warfare and rapid maneuvers, which often led to swift victories. He didn't shy away from employing psychological warfare. He spread fear among enemy ranks to guarantee compliance or surrender. In addition to military might, Qin Shi Huang also adeptly exploited political divisions within rival states. He formed alliances when advantageous, while simultaneously undermining enemy leaders through espionage and propaganda. The conquest of these states not only expanded his territory, but also provided vital resources to fund further military endeavors. As Qin Shi Huang solidified his power, he He also enacted policies to control and suppress dissent among his subjects. He executed those who opposed his rule, including former nobles and dissenting scholars. In 230 BCE, the Qin forces launched a relentless campaign against the Han state, aiming to eliminate one of the last significant obstacles to Qin Shi Huang's vision of a unified China. The Qin army, known for its discipline and superior tactics, quickly mobilized under the experienced leadership of General Wang Jian. His strategic brilliance would prove essential in the brutal confrontation that lay ahead. As the Qin troops advanced, they utilized a combination of swift cavalry and heavy infantry, overwhelming the Han defenses. The Han, though valiant, struggled to match the Qin's military prowess. Cities fell one after another, each surrendering under the weight of Qin's relentless assaults. The siege tactics employed by the Qin forces guaranteed that no stronghold could withstand for long. The campaign also saw the use of psychological warfare. Qin soldiers spread fear among the Han populace, urging them to surrender or face annihilation. This tactic not only demoralized the Han soldiers but also sparked infighting among their ranks. As the Qin continued their advance, they captured key territories, effectively dismantling the Han state's infrastructure and resources. Following the successful conquest of Han, the Qin forces set their sights on Zhao, a powerful state that posed a significant threat to Qin Shi Huang's ambitions. The year was 228 BCE, and Qin strategists recognized that defeating Zhao was essential for consolidating their control over northern China. Zhao's military strength and resources made it a formidable opponent. Qin Shi Huang dispatched General Wang Jian, a seasoned commander known for his tactical brilliance. Wang Jian carefully planned a multi-pronged attack, targeting key cities and supply routes to weaken Zhao's defenses. He employed deception and rapid movements, catching Zhao forces off guard. The speed and efficiency of the Qin army disrupted Zhao's ability to mount a coordinated defense. The siege of Handan, Zhao's capital, became the centerpiece of this campaign. Qin forces surrounded the city, cutting off supply lines and forcing the defenders into a desperate situation. The pressure mounted, and after a prolonged struggle, Zhao's leaders surrendered. This marked a significant turning point, as the Qin not only gained territory but also demoralized other states observing Zhao's fall. With Zhao under Qin control, Shi Huang solidified his influence in the region, paving the way for further conquests. The Qin's victory over Zhao demonstrated their military prowess and strategic acumen, instilling fear in rival states. The conquest not only expanded Qin territory, but also set the stage for the eventual unification of China under Qin Shi Huang's rule. As the Qin dynasty's momentum surged after the conquest of Zhao, the focus shifted to Wei, another rival state that threatened Qin's expansion. In 225 BCE, Qin Shi Huang aimed to eliminate Wei's power and secure the region for his growing empire. Wei had already suffered from internal strife, making it vulnerable to a decisive invasion. Qin's military strategy relied heavily on the effectiveness of its troops and the element of surprise. With General Wang Jian at the helm, Qin's forces advanced swiftly into Wei territory. The Qin army, renowned for its discipline and innovative tactics, efficiently utilized their resources, ensuring they maintained the upper hand. The siege of Wei's capital, Dalian, was marked by fierce fighting, but the Qin soldiers' determination and superior strategy ultimately prevailed. Wei's rulers, realizing the futility of resistance, sought to negotiate. However, Qin Shi Huang's ambitions left little room for compromise. The fall of Dalian signified not only a pivotal victory for Qin, but also a significant shift in the balance of power within the region. With Wei's defeat, Qin Shi Huang solidified his reputation as a formidable conqueror and further advanced his goal of uniting China. The conquest of Wei laid the groundwork for further military campaigns, reinforcing the Qin dynasty's reputation. It demonstrated the effectiveness of Qin's military strategies and showcased the empire's relentless drive for expansion, edging closer to the eventual unification of China under its rule. The year 223 BCE marked a crucial turning point in Qin Shi Huang's campaign for dominance as he set his sights on the formidable state of Chu. Recognized for its strength and strategic location, Chu posed a significant challenge to Qin's ambitions. To secure victory, Qin Shi Huang deployed his most trusted generals and a carefully devised strategy aimed at breaking the state's resolve. Under the command of General Wang Jian, the Qin forces advanced into Chu territory, employing a combination of military prowess and psychological tactics. They sought to exploit the internal dissent within Chu, capitalizing on the dissatisfaction among the local populace and rival factions. Qin's forces moved swiftly, launching surprise attacks and utilizing supe tactics that caught the Chu troops off guard. As battles raged, the Qin army proved relentless. They captured key cities and fortified positions, gradually tightening their grip on Chu's resources. The fall of the capital, Ying, marked a significant blow to Chu's leadership. In 222 BCE, Qin Shi Huang turned his attention to the northern state of Yan, a region known for its formidable defenses and strategic importance. The state had long posed a threat to Qin's ambitions, and its geographical position made it a crucial target for conquest. To prepare for this campaign, Qin Shi Huang meticulously planned his approach, assembling a robust army equipped with advanced weaponry and tactics. Qin's forces launched a series of coordinated attacks, catching the Yan defenders off guard. The Qin army, renowned for its discipline and strength, swiftly overwhelmed Yan's defenses. The strategy involved both direct assaults and psychological warfare aimed at demoralizing the enemy. As the siege progressed, Qin Shi Huang's generals executed their orders with precision, ensuring minimal losses on their side. Despite the fierce resistance from Yan's defenders, the Qin forces captured key cities and resources, weakening Yan's overall stability. The state's rulers, realizing their impending defeat, attempted to negotiate but found themselves outmatched by Qin's determination. By employing ruthless tactics, including the systematic dismantling of Yan's military infrastructure, Qin Shi Huang effectively crippled any hope of a successful defense. Ultimately, the conquest of Yan marked a significant milestone in Qin Shi Huang's campaign to unify China. It not only eliminated a rival state but also secured essential trade routes and resources. The victory strengthened Qin Shi Huang's position, setting the stage for his continued expansion efforts in the years to come. By 221 BCE, Qin Shi Huang had set his sights on the state of Qi, a powerful and wealthy region that stood as one of the last major obstacles to his goal of unifying China. With his armies strengthened and his strategies honed through previous conquests, Qin Shi Huang was determined to bring Qi under his control. The state of Qi, known for its rich resources and strategic location, posed a significant challenge. Qin's military campaign began with a calculated approach. He deployed large forces, taking advantage of superior logistics and disciplined troops. The Qin generals, experienced from prior battles, executed swift maneuvers to outflank Qi's defenses. They utilized siege tactics and psychological warfare to demoralize the Qi forces. Local alliances were also forged as Qin Shi Huang sought to weaken Qi from within. The battle unfolded over several months, with fierce confrontations and shifting allegiances. Despite the Qi's initial resistance, their leadership struggled to unify their forces against the relentless Qin advance. Ultimately, the might of Qin's military wore down Qi's defenses, leading to its eventual fall. As Qin Shi Huang emerged victorious over the states of rival factions. He seized the opportunity to proclaim himself the first emperor of China in 221 BCE. This pivotal moment marked the unification of a fractured land, and with it, the establishment of a centralized authority that would shape the future of the nation. His reign was characterized by a vision of strength, order, and stability. In his proclamation, Qin adopted the title Huangdi, which combined the titles of Huang, August, and Di, God, reflecting his ambition to elevate his status beyond mere mortal rulers. This wasn't just a declaration of power, it symbolized a new era in Chinese history. He sought to consolidate his authority, emphasizing his role as a protector and benefactor of the people. The proclamation resonated deeply with the populace, who'd endured years of warfare and chaos. Qin's ascension also marked a shift in governance. He aimed to eliminate the feudal system that had long been entrenched in Chinese society. By positioning himself as the supreme ruler, he sought to stabilize the region, ensuring loyalty through strict laws and regulations. The proclamation was a clarion call that invited both admiration and fear, as subjects understood the weight of his authority. In essence, Qin Shi Huang's proclamation not only signified the birth of a unified China, but also set the stage for a powerful dynasty that would leave an indelible mark on the nation's history. Recognizing the need for a cohesive and functional society, Qin Shi Huang implemented a series of standardization policies that transformed various aspects of everyday life in China. These policies aimed to unify the diverse regions of his empire, which had previously operated under different systems and customs. One of the most notable changes was the standardization of measurements. Qin mandated uniform units for length, weight, and volume, which facilitated trade and commerce across the vast territories. Merchants could now engage in transactions without confusion over varying local measures, promoting economic growth and integration. In addition to measurements, Qin introduced a standardized writing system. By unifying the myriad of scripts into a single form, communication became more efficient. This move not only enhanced administration but also fostered a sense of shared identity among the people, bridging cultural divides. Another vital policy involved the standardization of currency. Qin abolished the various forms of money that had existed and introduced a single currency, which simplified trade and reduced the problems of counterfeiting. This economic uniformity made transactions easier and encouraged the movement of goods. Lastly, Qin Shi Huang standardized the width of cart axles. By ensuring that all carts had the same axle width, he improved the efficiency of transportation across the empire's road networks. Qin Shi Huang's sweeping reforms extended beyond standardization. They were deeply rooted in the philosophy of legalism, which emphasized strict laws and centralized control. This ideological foundation shaped his governance, promoting an efficient state that prioritized authority and order. Legalism asserted that human nature is inherently selfish, necessitating strong laws to maintain societal harmony. Qin embraced this view, believing that only through rigorous enforcement and punishment could he unify his vast empire. To implement legalism, Qin Shi Huang established a centralized bureaucracy, appointing officials based on merit rather than noble birth. This system guaranteed loyalty to the emperor and minimized the power of regional leaders who could challenge his rule. He instituted harsh penalties for lawbreakers, reinforcing the message that disobedience wouldn't be tolerated. The infamous phrase, "punish the guilty and reward the innocent," encapsulated his approach, where swift punishment served as a deterrent to potential dissenters. Moreover, Qin's reforms extended to the economy and military. He standardized currency and measurements, facilitating trade and making taxation more efficient. A strong military was essential for defending the state and enforcing his laws, and Qin invested heavily in this area. Despite the effectiveness of his governance, Qin Shi Huang's legalistic policies also bred resentment among the populace. Many viewed his rule as oppressive, leading to widespread fear. Under Qin Shi Huang's rule, an extensive network of infrastructure projects transformed the landscape of ancient China. The emperor understood that a robust infrastructure was indispensable for unifying his empire and facilitating communication and trade. He initiated ambitious projects that included roads, canals, and bridges, markedly improving transportation across the vast territories. Qin Shi Huang ordered the construction of over 5,000 kilometers of roads, which connected major cities and military outposts. These roads not only enabled swift movement of troops, but also facilitated the exchange of goods and ideas among the diverse populations under his rule. The emperor's engineers meticulously planned these routes, guaranteeing they were well built and durable. In addition to roads, Qin Shi Huang prioritized the development of an extensive canal system. These canals were essential for irrigation, enhancing agricultural productivity and supporting trade by allowing boats to navigate inland. They played a pivotal role in transporting grains and other resources, which bolstered the economy and helped sustain the growing population. Moreover, the emperor's infrastructure projects often involved the use of forced labor, with soldiers and commoners working side by side. While this method secured rapid progress, it also led to hardship for many workers. Despite the challenges, the construction efforts laid the foundation for future dynasties, demonstrating Qin Shi Huang's vision for a unified and prosperous China. As infrastructure development flourished, Qin Shi Huang turned his attention to fortifying the empire against external threats. Recognizing the need for a formidable defense, he initiated the construction of what would later become known as the Great Wall of China. This monumental project aimed to protect the newly unified state from invasions, particularly from nomadic tribes in the north. Qin ordered the consolidation of existing walls and fortifications built by previous states, enhancing them with new materials and techniques. Under his leadership, workers, comprising soldiers, peasants, and prisoners, labored tirelessly to erect thousands of miles of walls, trenches, and watchtowers. The effort was monumental. It required immense resources and manpower, reflecting Qin's determination to secure his empire. The Great Wall not only served as a physical barrier but also as a psychological deterrent against potential aggressors. It symbolized the strength and unity of Qin's regime, showcasing his commitment to protecting his people. As the wall stretched across rugged terrains from deserts to mountains, it demonstrated the engineering prowess of the time. In addition to military defense, the Great Wall facilitated the control of trade along the Silk Road. It helped regulate the movement of goods and people, contributing to economic stability and growth. While endeavoring to consolidate his power, Qin Shi Huang implemented harsh measures to suppress dissent within his empire. Unwilling to tolerate any opposition, he targeted scholars, intellectuals, and critics who dared question his authority. This suppression manifested through a series of brutal policies designed to eliminate any potential threats to his rule. One of his most notorious actions was the burning of books that contradicted his regime's ideology. This act aimed to eradicate Confucian teachings and other philosophies that promoted individual thought, reducing the population's ability to critique his governance. By controlling knowledge, Qin sought to shape a unified ideology that supported his vision of a centralized state. Moreover, Qin Shi Huang's government executed numerous dissenters, often subjecting them to harsh punishments in public spectacles. This tactic instilled fear among the populace, discouraging any form of rebellion or resistance. The emperor's secret police also played a significant role in monitoring potential dissenters, ensuring that any whispers of discontent were swiftly dealt with. In addition to physical repression, Qin manipulated the legal system to maintain his authority. He enacted strict laws that punished even minor infractions with severe consequences, consequently promoting a culture of obedience and compliance. Driven by a quest for immortality and the desire to expand his empire, Qin Shi Huang commenced on numerous expeditions that blended exploration with mysticism. He sought not only to conquer new territories, but also to uncover secrets that could grant him eternal life. His fascination with the supernatural led him to dispatch emissaries to distant lands, hoping to find the fabled islands of the immortals, rumored to harbor elixirs that could prolong life indefinitely. One of the most notable expeditions involved a journey to the eastern seas. Legend spoke of a mystical island inhabited by beings who possessed the knowledge of immortality. The emperor's agents returned with tales of strange creatures and miraculous waters, fueling Qin's obsession. He believed that by finding these domains, he could secure his legacy beyond the grave. Qin Shi Huang also turned to alchemists and sorcerers, seeking their guidance. He invited scholars to his court, where they concocted potions from mercury and other elements despite the dangerous consequences. In his relentless pursuit, he disregarded the health risks, convinced that these experiments were crucial for achieving his goals. His expeditions and belief in mysticism reflected a ruler, torn between the tangible world and the ethereal. While his military conquests expanded his domain, his fixation on immortality ultimately revealed a deep-seated fear of death. Qin Shi Huang's ambitions extended beyond the pursuit of immortality and the quest for mystical knowledge. They also encompassed the need to secure his empire against external threats. One of the most significant challenges he faced came from the Xiongnu, a confederation of nomadic tribes known for their formidable military prowess and raids into Chinese territories. Recognizing the potential danger they posed, Qin Shi Huang took decisive action to strengthen his defenses. To counter the Xiongnu threat, he implemented a series of military reforms. He centralized command, improved training, and equipped his armies with better weaponry. His strategic focus was on building fortifications along the northern border, which laid the groundwork for what would later become the Great Wall of China. These walls not only served as a physical barrier, but also as a psychological deterrent against potential invasions. Additionally, Qin Shi Huang sought to disrupt the Xiongnu's supply lines and undermine their influence over surrounding tribes. He dispatched punitive expeditions into Xiongnu territory, demonstrating his willingness to engage in direct conflict if necessary. This approach aimed to assert dominance and protect the empire's borders. Despite his efforts, the Xiongnu remained a persistent threat throughout his reign. Their mobility and guerrilla tactics posed challenges that even the might of Qin Shi Huang's armies struggled to fully overcome. As economic strains began to mount within the empire, Qin Shi Huang undertook a series of inspection tours to assess the situation firsthand. He recognized that the vastness of his dominion required direct oversight to guarantee stability and prosperity. These tours allowed him to witness the challenges faced by his subjects, including food shortages, heavy taxation, and labor unrest. During these journeys, Qin Shi Huang listened to the concerns of the local populace. He noted the struggles of farmers who contended with droughts and flooding, impacting their yields. Merchants expressed frustration over trade restrictions and the burdens of taxation, which stifled commerce. The emperor understood that a prosperous economy depended on the well-being of his people, and he sought solutions to alleviate their burdens. In response to the insights gained from his tours, Qin Shi Huang implemented reforms aimed at revitalizing the economy. He streamlined tax collections, reduced onerous regulations, and invested in infrastructure projects like roads and canals to facilitate trade. By improving transportation, he hoped to connect remote regions and enhance the flow of goods. Though his reign was marked by strict control and centralization, these inspection tours revealed a more compassionate side of the emperor. By engaging directly with his subjects, he aimed to forge a more resilient empire. Through his efforts, Qin Shi Huang aspired to stabilize the economy and solidify his legacy as a ruler attentive to the needs of his people, while addressing economics challenges. Qin Shi Huang also faced a growing threat from within assassination plots hatched by discontented nobles and rivals. As his power expanded, so did the resentment among those who feared losing their influence and wealth. Rumors of conspiracies swirled through the courts, escalating tensions and paranoia. Qin took these threats seriously. His advisors, aware of the potential dangers, urged him to bolster security and keep a close watch on key figures. They implemented surveillance measures and infiltrated noble households to uncover any signs of treachery. This proactive approach revealed several assassination plots aimed at the emperor, showcasing the extent of the unrest brewing among the elite. One notable incident involved a plot orchestrated by a group of disgruntled nobles who sought to eliminate Qin and restore their own power. With intelligence gathered from informants, Qin's agents intercepted their plans before they could be executed. The swift action not only foiled the assassination attempt, but also sent a clear message to other would-be conspirators. Treason wouldn't be tolerated. However, the discovery of these plots further fueled Qin's obsession with control and security. He became increasingly mistrustful, even of those closest to him. In his quest to eliminate threats, he resorted to harsh measures which only deepened the rift between him and his subjects. Although the emperor's iron grip on power seemed unshakable, his health began to decline, casting a shadow over his reign. Qin Shi Huang, once a vigorous leader, found himself plagued by ailments that affected both his physical and mental state. As he grew older, the pressures of ruling a vast empire took their toll. His relentless pursuit of immortality fueled his obsession with alchemical potions, many of which proved harmful rather than beneficial. The emperor relied heavily on his physicians, demanding cures for his ailments while ignoring their warnings about the dangers of certain treatments. His health issues became apparent in his increasingly erratic behavior. He often exhibited paranoia and anxiety, fearing betrayal from those around him. The assassination plots he'd previously uncovered only added to his sense of insecurity, making him more withdrawn and suspicious. In his later years, Qin Shi Huang's once commanding presence began to fade. His advisors noticed the change as he became easily fatigued and struggled with basic tasks. The empire, which had thrived under his ambitious vision, started to reflect the turmoil within him. His declining health not only impacted his ability to govern effectively, but also strained relationships with his officials, who worried about the future of the empire in light of their leader's deteriorating condition. Despite his relentless pursuit of immortality, Qin Shi Huang's life came to an end in 210 BCE, marking a significant turning point for the empire he'd forged. The emperor had traveled to the eastern coast of China, seeking the mythical elixir of life. However, during this journey, he fell gravely ill. His health had been declining for some time, but the pressure of his ambition and the harsh conditions of travel took a toll on his already weakened body. As he lay on his deathbed, surrounded by loyal officials, Qin Shi Huang's mind raced with thoughts of his legacy. He'd unified China and implemented monumental reforms, yet the spectre of mortality loomed over him. Fearing the chaos that his death might release, he ordered his confidants to keep his passing a secret, insisting that they continue the journey. As if he were alive, his desire for control extended even beyond the grave. In the days that followed, his body was preserved and transported back to the capital, Xianyang. During this time, his servants concocted elaborate plans to maintain the illusion of his liveliness. However, whispers of his demise crept through the ranks, sowing seeds of uncertainty among the empire's leaders. As Qin Shi Huang's body was transported back to Xianyang, a power vacuum emerged, igniting a fierce succession crisis that threatened the stability of his vast empire. The emperor's unexpected death left a leadership void, and various factions quickly began vying for control. His eldest son, Fusu, was initially seen as the most likely successor, but he lacked the political savvy and support needed to maintain authority. Meanwhile, other contenders, including the ambitious Zhao Gao, manipulated the situation to their advantage. Zhao Gao, a trusted advisor to the emperor, sought to elevate his own status by undermining Fusu. He forged documents to persuade the court that Fusu had committed treason, leading to Fusu's tragic demise. This act of betrayal deepened the rift among the royal family and the ruling elite, causing chaos throughout the empire. As factions formed, loyalty shifted, and once united officials began to distrust one another. The absence of a strong, legitimate leader fostered rebellion and unrest in various regions. Local governors and military leaders saw this as an opportunity to assert their own power, leading to uprisings and further destabilization. Emperor Qin Shi Huang's life was a blend of remarkable achievements and ruthless governance. His unification of China and ambitious projects left a lasting legacy, yet his harsh methods and obsession with immortality cast a shadow over his reign. As his health declined, the empire faced a succession crisis, reflecting the instability that often followed his iron-fisted rule. Ultimately, Qin Shi Huang's complex legacy continues to influence perceptions of leadership and power in Chinese history.